Mark from the Gourmet Spice Company, who's with me today, to talk about marinades and rubs to actually excite some energy into that chicken breast.
That's
and
great.
That burger and sausage.
This is a good local success story as well, because from Corby, which is terrific. So take up the story then, Mark. How did it come into being?
Well, it started really about 18 months ago. Just always had a passion for spice and flavour and just experimenting with different things, and really tried to come up with a range of rubs, marinades, just really to try and get things, moving and get people into different spices, just to realise it isn't all about burgers and sausages. That's fine, but it's so simple just to put a bit of a rub and take things in a totally different direction. So Gourmet Spice Co was born on May last year.
So it's not long been a year then.
Yeah, 14, 15 months.
And how's it going?
Got off to a flying start. Yeah, terrific. Yeah, it's been really good. We've got a lovely little following of some chefs that are following us. Quite quickly last year we were nominated as a finalist in the most innovative food and drink business in the East Midlands. So we've really, kind of gone a long way.
That's excellent, isn't it? Somebody local that's actually...
Exactly.
Using imagination. And you actually make these spices, don't you?
Everything's handmade by me.
I just love that. I love that.
That's
it's
brilliant.
Still lovely and small.
The real thing.
It is.
And local. I actually met Mark, I think, Holdenby last year, but then at the Oundle Food Festival again.
That's right. And it's gone from strength to strength. Holdenby was terrific. The Oundle Food Festival, which was a few weeks back,
that. Yeah, that was great.
That was our best ever trading day. So everything's gone on from strength to strength. So it's been terrific.
Yeah, and then obviously here so we've got a variety of rubs. Marinades, salts, and my favourite thing that you've got in this magic pot, it's called magic barbecue dust. I think Kevin would like this, because I think this is very much something that you pinch.
That will just transform anything, presumably.
It does. It's so simple. There's a dozen or so spices in it, and just use it a pinch at a time. So chuck a pinch on anything that you barbecue. It works on meat, fish, veg, anything.
So how do you describe that stereotypical barbecue taste?
I think it's not necessarily about a barbecue sauce, which is traditionally quite rich, quite fruity, can be quite sweet. I think the basics of a marinade and a rub: salt, pepper, paprika, and then take it in a different direction. A bit of fennel, some dill, whatever you've got, fresh herbs, anything you've got. If it's dried spice, things like that's what we would call a rub, and you can rub that straight onto a piece of meat dry.
So you'd get a little bit of the rub, and you'd kind of massage it into the chicken breast or whatever. And would you let that sit in the fridge for a little bit? Or?
I would, if I'm organised enough. Usually about half an hour before is as much as organisation as I generally have.
But that does the trick, presumably.
It does. You get a terrific amount of flavour, especially with products like this, because they're all fresh ground. Most of the stuff we were selling at the food festival this weekend, we only made on Thursday.
Wow.
So it's literally 24, 48 hours old.
Can't beat it, can you?
Do you have to worry that when you flip whatever it is over, does a lot of the marinade fall off?
Some of it will, but, a lot of the flavour is starting to seep into the food. It caramelizes, you get a fantastic flavour with it, really. You get a bit of a crust. And that's the secret to a good steak, isn't it? Really hot pan, hot griddle, whatever you like. Get a nice crust on it.
And it's really important to marinate the meat.
Have we got a barbecue anyway?
Making yourself hungry.
And remember that you must always oil and marinate the meat, and don't ever put any oil onto the grill.
That's it.
Is that a good tip?
Always the meat.
It is.
The steak.
Yeah, it is.
The fish, the chicken breast. Don't ever put oil directly onto to a barbecue. I mean, the great thing with these is, I've got the fire pit barbecue rub here, and it's rich, smoky and tangy with bourbon pepper and cocoa.
Yes.
And it's a dry rub, but I actually used it with some honey, some olive oil and a little bit of lemon zest, and left chicken to marinate. And I think when it marinates, it does really pick up that lovely, all the flavours.
Yeah.
I left it in the fridge for about an hour and a half, because I am organised.
Thank you.
And then spit it onto some damp skewers, wooden skewers. I'd kind of just soaked and popped it on the barbecue. And children just go for this.
Completely.
Listen, this is heaven on a stick.
Completely. Because here's the thing, chicken by itself is sort of okay, and it tastes like chicken, but it's sort of crying out for something a bit more, perhaps.
Absolutely.
Is. And, the thing, since I've started doing this and getting out each weekend and talking to people, there's two things that people just don't know what to do with, and it's chicken and salmon. So I have a chicken rub and a salmon rub.
Okay.
And the first thing people say is, I don't know what to do with salmon, I see a salmon rub. and it just gives them some inspiration, and it allows them just really to experiment, play around with things. things.
You can add to it, and that's the great thing.
And don't be frightened of it. Yeah, that's it.
You know, you can add a little bit of fresh.
If you've got some fresh herbs, just chop those up, stick those in as well. A bit of lemon juice.
Yeah.
You know, you can use these as a dry rub, but as Carmela said, the classic way just to make a marinade is teaspoon of oil, teaspoon of the rub, mix it in, and then just put whatever you like in.
So how much work and how much experimentation has gone into this? Because you must have spent a lot of hours just playing with it.
Exactly. I mean, I started part-time, you know, just thinking, all right, I'll be able to do this some evenings and weekends, and within 3 weeks I was doing nothing else. You know, 6 in the morning till sort of 7 or 8 o'clock at night, pretty much 7 days a week. You know, 2 or 3 of those were out meeting people and, you know, talking to people at food festivals, that sort of thing. So it very quickly became a full-time job. But that's the fun of it, you know, the experimentation with the fire pit pepper, the fire pit rub, which we use bourbon pepper, is we just thought one day, I wonder what happens if we soak peppercorns in bourbon.
Kevin, have a smell of this.
Sorry, did you say bourbon?
Yes, that's right.
Okay, can have a look. This is a little
Don't put your tongue in it.
No, all right, it's fine. All right.
Because it's yours, you say it at home.
It's my one.
Oh,
you know,
wow!
And you'll get a slight aroma. It won't smell, you know, overly,
wonderful.
and it won't taste of bourbon.
Yeah.
That's not the point. But it just gives something extra, a little something in the back, which I think works really well with a barbecue rub.
It is like an intriguing story that you've got there, and I'm guessing you maybe had like a proper job. Were you like an accountant or something, and I thought, there's more to life than this?
Yeah, when I had a real job, I was print, marketing, that sort of thing, outsourcing. So I was doing that for 20 or so years.
And then, what was that spark?
Just really frustrated with the way the print industry was going. You know, as with all industry nowadays, it's tough. Wanted to do something that really excited me rather than just the thing that I've been used to for the last 20 years. So I just decided on a total career change. Thought I'd try this as a little bit of a sideline.
So many people turn to food, don't they?
Exactly.
Yeah. And it's something that we all enjoy and we all need.
And you know what? I think it's a really exciting time right now for food. You know, there's the economy's tough, and people are watching what they're spending. To some degree, yes. The luxury items are suffering a little bit, but actually when people realise the amount of flavour that you can get for products like this and doing other, you know, spending your money wisely, you know, and actually getting a huge amount of flavour out of food, it takes it to a new level for a very small amount of money.
But it must have been, having said that, a big gamble, because you never knew that this was going to work.
Oh, it was. That's right. Terrific. Yeah, you know, hugely, you know, in terms of gambling. But, you know, if you don't try something, you never know.
Mark, that you're at lots of local markets, aren't you?
Yeah, we try and do something every weekend. So we do local farmers markets. We're at a food festival pretty much every weekend in the summer.
It's great to try. It's great to try, isn't it? You go to, you know, these lovely food markets, little farmers markets, and, you know, you've got some expensive produce and what have you, but then you've got, you know, someone that's kind of out there that's put their heart and soul into a product that actually really does. You know, I'm quite good with marinades and rubs. I've got a cupboard full of spices and pills and potions that I can throw together, but it's great to actually pick something up that someone's put so much effort into and think, okay, well, this has already got thyme in it, it's got, you know, everything's kind of there, and then I can add my little whiz of some fresh parsley, some, you know, rind of a lemon juice, a squidge of lemon juice, maybe a little bit of extra
just imagination, isn't it?
And you just can. It just gives, I think, you know, even the unkeen cook and people that think, do you know what? I mean, I don't think there's anything better than a burger and a sausage on a barbie. I've got to say, and a bit of tomato sauce. I'm quite happy. Ribs, but fish. Yeah. You know, do you ever cook fish on a barbecue?
Never dream of it.
So many people don't, and I think that's something that fish takes minutes.
It does.
You know, it really takes minutes. I think the best way to cook fish on a barbecue is in foil.
It's the healthy option, isn't it, actually?
You know, great. A few minutes and you've got fish cooked.
Ooh, okay, this is sounding very tasty. What about the hurdles that you must... because I'm thinking of the paperwork. I'm also thinking of you know, there's lots of increasing, you know, environmental health. You've got to be tested for cleanliness and all that. Does that also become quite a pain?
Oh, sure. There was a huge amount of paperwork and red tape to get through to start with, particularly because I didn't come from a classical food background. You know, there was a lot to go through. There's... the local environmental health officer and people like that, they're actually, once you get under the skin of it, they're actually there to help you. So they've been very good. We got off to a great start with them. The trading standards, again, if you approach them in the right fashion, if you're trying to do the right thing,
it's the right attitude you've got to have, isn't it?
And I think there's a perception that everyone's, there's so much in the way of barriers. In actual fact, all it takes is a phone call, and the barriers, don't really exist. So,
how much secrecy then is there cloaked around this? Because I know there's a famous fast food restaurant that specialises in chicken, and the story is that there's only 2 people in the world that knows the recipe.
Yeah, exactly.
You've got to be a bit careful then, have you?
I have. I mean, you've got to list the ingredients. So you've got to list the actual raw ingredients. But what I'm not about to do is to divulge the actual recipe, because we spent 3 to 6 months. Some of these took considerably longer. When I look at some of the vinegars and things like that we've produced,
vinegars are lovely.
The balsamics. It's taken, I guess, 7 to 8 months to come up with certain recipes, and we're very pleased with them. So, whilst I've got to state the ingredients on the actual label, because
it's the quantities,
it's the right thing to do, the quantities and things like that. They're a closely guarded secret.
Right, of course, absolutely, and it still tastes great. That's the main thing.
It does.
Listen, we'll have a break for music. If you're listening at home and you've got any secrets of doing nice barbecues,
even any good marinades that you use, anything different that you use, maybe
we're always learning.
That we always are. Give us a call, please. 01604234455. You can text us, text North to 81333, or email kevin.saddington@bbc.co.uk. I hope you're feeling hungry now, because we all are. The scene for. So today we're talking about
barbecues, really.
And spices.
Just fabulous weather. Spices, kind of zhuzhing up some kind of meat. But also, setting the meat aside, vegetables on the barbecue. Absolutely delicious.
Do I've never ever thought of putting a vegetable on a barbecue.
Really?
Ever.
Sweet corn. Sweet corn is great. Just kind of smothered in some flavoured butter. And, coriander butter, I think would work really well, wouldn't it, Mark?
Yep.
You could smother it. You could pop it in foil on the barbie, or just whack it on and kind of just char grill that.
Lovely. Now, if you've just tuned in, it's just worth mentioning we've got a special guest here as well.
Indeed,
this is Mark, and just tell us a little bit in a nutshell about what you do, Mark, because you're based in Corby, and a couple of years ago you had this dream of giving up a normal, very well paid job,
regular job,
and just as a gamble setting up this spice company.
Indeed.
And it's obviously going very well so far. How many spices are we talking about? If we went into your kitchen, would there be like a dozen bottles of different spices, or thousands?
Oh, more than that. We started with we used probably a core of around 80 to 100 different spices and herbs and that sort of thing. When we launched back in May last year, we launched on day one with 22 products, which was just crazy. Even I know that was crazy, but I just couldn't stop tinkering around with things and coming up with new things. Today we've got around 55 blended products.
Wow,
plus we sell all the individual spice, so we're up to 100 products.
Are you amazed by the popularity of some of them, and surprised that some of them don't go as well as you thought would?
Yes, there's been a couple that we thought would go really, really well, and they just haven't. They haven't really taken off. But there's been others that we just thought, well, this is just a regular rub, like the salmon rub, for instance, and it just goes like hotcakes. Again, because people associate, they don't know what to do with salmon. They see something with salmon rub on it, and they take it home and use it and love it and come back and buy more.
Sure.
It's terrific.
So when you're at one of the farmers' markets or the food fair or whatever, do you actually have to do samples? Because people need to know what it tastes like.
Exactly, yeah. That's been the great thing, I think, about the business is we've been out every weekend, meeting people, learning from people, getting feedback. When we're looking to launch a new product, because we do tasters of everything at every event we do, all the oils, all the vinegars, there's sample pots of every spice open. People come along and have a sniff.
The olive oils and the vinegars, like many traders, you dip in bread. And I then become addicted, because you've got lemon infused olive oil.
That's right, yeah.
You've got balsamic with fig and blackberry.
We've got fig and a date. We've got blackberry and rosemary.
Blackberry and rosemary. I've got both.
That's just got through to the finals in the Northamptonshire Food Awards. Actually,
great stuff. Fabulous.
Well done.
Drizzled over a lovely salad to go with your burger.
So we're steering
sausages.
We're gently steering the conversation out to vegetables as well.
Onto veg.
Oh, you bet. And so veg, obviously very healthy, but and as you said, very good on a barbecue as well.
I think that the heat from the barbecue is so intense. I love caramelised onions, and I bet you do as well in a burger.
Yeah, sure.
Lovely and rich. And I think onions, if you grab some red onions and skewer them onto a skewer, pop them onto a skewer, and drizzle with balsamic olive oil, so you can go for a normal kind of aged balsamic, or use a flavoured balsamic like the fig and date.
Fig and date, yep.
And caramelise your onions. on the barbecue. So you've cooked your burger or cooked your steak, and then take it off the skewer, and you've got a delicious caramelised onion to go with it. Sweet corn, aubergines, sliced aubergines.
Things like mushrooms
just with
as
some
well.
lemon,
mushrooms with a little bit of butter, some parsley in a foil.
Yeah, lemon on aubergine with a little bit of thyme.
Here's the thing. Last night, so we had this barbecue, okay, and I had the kids and everything, and so
I'm doing. You smile when you talk.
And I'm doing burgers and all of that. And it's really, really lovely. And I said to the kids, "Hey, look, I've got some really nice salad, lads. Do you want a salad?" No, don't want interested. No, I just want burgers.
No, just burgers.
Come on. It was. Why can't you get kids to eat vegetables and salad?
No, it is difficult.
It's really hard.
It's a difficult one, I think, unless you kind of try and pile lettuce leaves into a bowl.
Hide it in there. Yeah, they'll take them out, wouldn't they?
I love salad though. I think that it complements so well, doesn't it?
It does indeed.
I've pre-recorded a bruschetta as well, which is really delicious, and that's kind of lots of delicious peppers and onions and olives. Can't miss out my olives and cucumber and tomatoes mixed together with a pesto that I made.
Okay.
And that would be a lovely topping to go on steak or burger.
Okay, so we'll whiz to your kitchen now then.
Perfect.
And hear what happened. There's M People and Search for the Hero. It's BBC Northampton. Good morning to you. Hope your weekend is going beautifully. We can make it a bit more special because we've got some great tips on barbecuing today. We've got Carmela here, and we're talking about the joys of barbecued food, how healthy it can be.
Yeah, absolutely.
Just how there's something just beautiful, isn't there, about eating al fresco?
And eating outside. It's very Italian. It's very continental.
I knew you'd work that in somewhere.
Yeah, the French, absolutely. the French, the Spanish. I mean, it's something that's lovely when you go on holiday, isn't it? That you kind of eat outdoors.
And as you know, we've got Mark here as well, who's from Corby, and he's very much into spices and marinades and so on. And you mentioned that there's an English barbecue team.
There is. We've got a British barbecue team. I don't know a huge amount about it.
Is it an Olympic sport yet?
I don't think so, not yet. Give it time.
Rio.
But the captain of the British barbecue team, a chap called Ben Bartlett, or BBQ Ben on his Twitter. We met him at a food festival. Terrific guy. Loves some of the products that we do and the spices and the oils and things like that. So really kind of got into it.
So what do the British barbecue team, what do they exist to do?
They go around the world doing barbecue competitions.
Oh, right. I need to be part of that club, I think.
Yeah, what a fantastic lifestyle.
Fantastic. Because our climate doesn't necessarily lend itself to barbecued food that much.
No, that's right, which is, I think at the time of him telling me, I think we were number 10 in the world.
In terms of what, how many?
In terms of ranking. Okay. We were 10th in the world. Because I said, well, I didn't even know we had a team. Whereabouts are we in the league tables? And we were 10th, which I guess...
Who's number 1 then? America?
I don't know, I didn't ask. But I guess America, Australia, places like that. There's so many different climates that are better weather for barbecues, so they get more practice. Yeah. I guess us being top 10, when we only have 5 barbecues a year, is pretty good.
But what makes a good barbecue? There's
sun.
a question.
As soon as the sun comes out, I don't know about you, but we're right out into the garden. Out goes the brolly.
Yeah, it's sort of it's the company, isn't it? It's relaxing, and it's also the quality of the food. It has to be, doesn't it? Really,
good quality of food and accompaniments to go with, the fish or the steak or the burger and sausages. I love all the extras that you get, all the dippy things that you can have, all the raw vegetables that go aside it, and maybe some pasta dishes or rice dishes and salads and potato salads and coleslaws, all the lovely fresh food that you can also share and pick out in a bar.
Don't buy them, make them. They take minutes.
They really do.
It's easy to overeat at a barbecue, though, don't you think?
It is, and you've always got to make sure that obviously food's well covered and that you don't leave things outside, obviously. But it's great, isn't it?
Oh, I love it. Now, we're talking about other accompaniments as well for barbecues, and we've got one here again in your kitchen. Is this pesto pasta?
Pesto pasta. So pesto that I'd made, basil pesto, and then obviously mixing in with some lovely fresh pasta. It's a great accompaniment.
Okay, and here's the tips on how to do it. Pesto pasta. That does sound wonderful. And what is it with Italian words that they just are just so wonderful to say?
They're just delicious, aren't they?
Yeah.
Pesto.
It's all good. It's all good.
Parmigiano Reggiano.
Yes, all right.
Mozzarella.
Don't show off. So now, look, we're talking about barbecues, but also now we're looking at seasonal vegetables and fruits and so on.
Seasonal fruit and veg. So things that are in kind of season this week, this month. Peppers, very much in season. Lettuces, such a huge array. And spinach. I love spinach. Do you like spinach?
Yeah.
Spinach is lovely.
Good for you.
in a salad. I love it in a salad, spinach.
Works for Popeye.
Just dressed, absolutely, and olive. And but in a tart, a lovely tart with some creme fraiche, baked in a short crust pastry case. So that would go really well. Peppers are delicious, just stuffed, baked in the oven. I'll slice them and drizzle olive oil, a little bit of lemon juice, and then just have them on top of a pizza, or just alongside on a piece of steak from the barbecue over a piece of chicken.
Fantastic.
Really, really lovely. And raw, obviously a lovely plate of raw carrots, cucumbers, celeries and peppers go really well with the barbecue as well.
And it is fantastic to get into the seasonal fruit and veg because it's environmentally brilliant, because it's all local stuff very close to us.
Absolutely. And the other thing is lettuces. Well, lettuce, I love lettuce. Sandwiches, in wraps.
Doesn't get better than that.
It just really doesn't. So,
Excellent.
really make the most of everything that's fresh and that's seasonal. And I'm still on the hunt for the fig, and the fig still isn't in season. So
one day.
Hopefully in the next 2 weeks they will be.
Absolutely. And Mark, thank you so much for coming in. It's been great to see you. Congratulations on this award as well. Just tell me about the award that you're sort of being shortlisted for now.
Yeah, I mean, it's the Carlsberg Northamptonshire Food and Drink Awards. So we're through to the finals. We're in the final 6 for best local product. So with our blackberry and rosemary balsamic vinegar, lovely aged vinegar.
Fantastic.
Yeah, we wait till November sometime before they actually tell us if we've won or not. But to be down to the last 6 is terrific.
It is. And if anybody wants to be inspired by spices, how do they find out more?
If you go to our main site, tastespice.co.uk, you'll also find a link there to our recipe blog.
Excellent.
Which has got tons of stuff on there. It's not all using our product. It's a recipe blog about, other people's inventions and creations. So it's, a great source
But it gives you a chance to see how your rubs and your marinades and
it
vinegars
gives you some ideas of how to experiment yourself. Just don't be afraid of things. Stick some things in a grinder, give it a whiz, and have fun.
Carmela, do you think we'll get invited to Mark's next barbecue?
I'm definitely inviting myself. We'll come. We'll gate crash.
We'll just turn up.
Welcome.
Thank you so much. Good to see you.